You know the exact motion. You grab a chip, pop it in your mouth, and before you've even chewed, let alone swallowed that first bite, your hand is already diving back into the bag for the next one. It's easy to write off that automatic, almost robotic motion as a lack of discipline. You tell yourself you just have no self-control. But this reaction is actually a highly predictable biological reflex. You aren't falling victim to some secret addictive chemical sprinkled into the recipe. There is no single magic ingredient hijacking your brain. This chart illustrates what researchers call a hyperpalatable food. Notice how the three axes, fat, non-fiber carbohydrates, and sodium, all spike into the maximum outer ring simultaneously. Food manufacturers engineer these products to hit the precise bliss points for multiple macronutrients at the exact same time. When you combine highly refined oils with refined starches and salt in those exact ratios, you create a physiological response that easily bypasses conscious thought. Your brain registers a massive, rapid influx of energy, initiating an automatic feeding loop that you simply cannot outthink. The physical structure of these snacks is highly intentional. Look at how this porous, airy texture collapses almost instantly the moment it touches liquid. It's designed to melt away in your saliva with near zero chewing required. Because you don't have to break down heavy fibers or dense proteins, the food clears your mouth in seconds. You are rapidly depositing a huge amount of concentrated energy into your stomach in a remarkably short window of time. Meanwhile, your gut takes its time. It has to physically distend, analyze the incoming nutrients, and gradually secrete fullness hormones into the bloodstream to tell your brain you've had enough. This timeline graphic shows the core problem. The top bar, representing your energy intake, races forward at incredible speed because the food dissolves so quickly. The bottom bar, your fullness signal, crawls forward. This creates a massive biological blind spot. For 10 or 15 minutes, your body is rapidly stockpiling calories, but it possesses no mechanical way to signal your brain to stop eating yet. The food is physically moving through you faster than your biology can react. You overeat these snacks because their engineered melt-away properties literally outpace the human body's maximum speed limit for feeling full. While your stomach is lagging behind, your brain is highly attentive to the sudden, massive rush of incoming calories. It responds by releasing dopamine. We often casually refer to dopamine as a pleasure chemical, but neurologically, it is a strict learning mechanism. It exists to flag sudden, massive influxes of calories and record exactly how you got them. That chemical spike effectively writes a biological script. It hardwires a subconscious memory, telling you to aggressively seek out this exact dense energy source the next time you feel even slightly hungry. This side-by-side visual comparison shows two completely different ways to consume 500 calories. On the left, you have a tiny, highly concentrated handful of processed crackers. On the right, a massive, overflowing plate of salmon, broccoli, and legumes. To effectively trigger those delayed fullness signals in your gut, your body requires specific physical inputs: the dense amino acids from protein, the slow digesting structure of natural fiber, and sheer physical mass. Researchers debate whether this cycle meets the clinical definition of a true addiction. However, the feeling of losing control over your portions is a very real, documented physiological response to this precise combination of ingredients. Small, calorically dense foods feed your brain's dopamine learning loop instantly, but they completely bypass the physical volume needed to stretch your stomach. They eliminate your conscious willpower by design. That second automatic reach back into the bag isn't a failure of character. It is exactly how the human body is supposed to react when placed in an environment engineered to maximize caloric intake. Attempting to use sheer mental discipline to stop eating hyperpalatable foods once you've started is a scientifically flawed strategy. You are trying to outthink a biological survival reflex. You have to change the environment instead. The first step is to physically break the feeding loop. If you want a snack, pour a single portion into a small bowl, then immediately close the bag and put it away out of sight before you take the first bite. Next, force those fullness signals to activate. Pair your ultra-processed cravings with something that demands real digestion, like a handful of almonds, to add the physical protein and fiber volume your gut requires to trigger satiety. Finally, increase the friction between you and the food. Store highly palatable snacks in opaque containers so you don't receive constant visual cues, and establish a strict rule that you only eat them while sitting down at a proper table, rather than mindlessly on the couch. You cannot rewire your brain's dopamine response overnight, but you can alter your external eating conditions. Modifying your immediate environment is the most reliable way to short-circuit the food's internal biological hijack. We all have that one snack that perfectly hits our personal bliss points. Let me know in the comments below, what is the specific food that you find completely impossible to stop eating once you start? Thanks for watching. Here at Food Safety Bites, we're dedicated to explaining the practical science behind what we eat, so you can make sense of your plate. See you next time.